What is up, you guys? It's Dom here from JoJo Productions. It's October, and you know what October means? It means time for some horror goodness. So yes, it is October. It's time of horror movies, scary stories. By the way, Scary Stories in the Dark was a pretty good movie. Anyway, that's totally off topic. Today I want to talk about how to get the horror look, the cinematic horror look. How do we get that? I'm going to be teaching you all the way from the camera settings to the lighting and then to post-production, where I will be showing you how to get a really cinematic color grade. Alright, you guys, so when it comes to setting the scene up, the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to make sure that my camera settings are correct. In this case, I'm shooting on an old Canon 7D. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my picture profile, and I'm going to make sure that I have a really flat, neutral picture profile. So in this case, I just am going to be turning down the contrast, the saturation, and the sharpness, because that will give me the overall flattest picture profile. All right, then from there, what I am going to do is I'm going to take a look at my lighting in the room. Do I have any kind of lights that might interfere with the lights that I'm going to set up? In this case, I do. It is the kitchen light, and it is kind of this ugly, gross orange, and we definitely don't want these two light colors to mix and make it super hard to get an accurate white balance. So after I've turned off the kitchen light, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my light. In this case, it is a Neewer 160. From there, what I'm going to do is I am going to extend the light fully to the top, and then I'm going to turn the head all the way up so it points the ceiling. Then I will turn on the light, and basically what this is going to do, it's going to cause the light to diffuse in the entire room. It's going to create a really nice kind of a soft light. So from there, because my scene of me walking from the bed out from the bedroom, I want to light my bedroom basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another light. In this case, it's going to be a kicker light, and I'm going to place it inside the bedroom so that when I walk out, it gives me kind of a nice rim light. So there is the lighting setup. I have one in the kitchen, and then I have another one in the bedroom facing the door for when I walk out. So there you guys go. That is the little scene. From there, what we will do is we will take the footage into post, and we will now start color grading it. All right, you guys, so here we are in post, and as you can see, I am using HitFilm Express. So what I'm going to start out doing is I'm going to come over here to my effects panel. I'm going to bring down some contrast and brightness. I'm going to add that there. Then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add some levels and histograms. And then just for some giggles and shits and stuff like that, I'm going to add some hue saturation and stuff like that. So first of all, what I'm going to do is okay, so I'm going to boost up the brightness here, or the contrast here. Yep, the contrast, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast there. Now these Canon 7D files, it doesn't take a lot to get a lot of brightness or contrast into this file. They aren't exactly the most flexible files. So I just added a little bit of contrast there. And now what I want to do is I want to start adding some colors. Now when it comes to a horror look, I really want to deal with a lot of the blues and the greens, because that really kind of brings on that horror look. Mostly you want a really cold look, and obviously the way to do that is to do some blues and greens. So what I'm going to do here is I've got the levels histograms pulled up, and I have the red channel pulled up first of all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that mid-tone slider, and I'm just going to move it to the right here, and as you can see, my scene gets a little greener, which kind of brings in that nice kind of horror green. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down at the blues. I'm going to take the shadows, and I'm going to bring up those shadows, make those kind of a bluer color.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the saturation. I'm going to boost up that saturation just a little bit. I'm going to bring it up to 10. Okay, so there is kind of just a mild color grade for the horror look. So from there, we added just a little brightness, a little contrast, as you can see, make those blacks a little darker. Levels, histograms, that definitely made the whole look. It definitely looks a lot better. The color looks a lot more like a horror film. And then that levels, histogram, and then the hue saturation, I just boosted up that saturation just a little bit. What I can do actually is I'm going to darken this just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so that's a little darker, and I think that looks a lot better. Darkened that scene up. Looks a lot better there, guys. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to take on that letterbox, and I'm going to drag it right there, and I think that looks pretty good, you guys. So there you go. That is how I color graded this quick little scene. Alright, so thank you so much for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section below, and I will be sure to get to those. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.